Hi everyone, welcome to yet another episode of Anxiety Recovery Orbit. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscription button, make sure to hit that notification bell. Anytime I'm live, anytime I post a new video, you'll be able to get notified. Otherwise, my name is Madeline Albright and I use my own recovery from severe sensitization, severe anxiety, and chronic depression to help others who are still struggling. So if you're still struggling, keep it here. Otherwise, let's get it started. So today I want to talk about a topic that is very dear to my heart. Apart from depression, this is also something that put me down, that I said, you know what, I'm gonna do what I can to recover from this anxiety thing, but above all, I'm gonna talk about it. So in today's video, I wanna talk about how to deal with the difficult emotions. If you're struggling with intense sadness, if you're struggling with anger, jealousy, low self-esteem, shame, guilt, doubt, if you're always irritable, depression, I'm going to talk about all types of emotions brought by anxiety, because emotions were a big struggle for me. You know, everyone in the anxiety cycle, they have their biggest struggles. Some people, their big struggle is, feelings of unreality. Some people, it's heart palpitations. Me, one of my biggest struggles was emotions. I didn't know how to handle emotions. I was a mess when it came to emotions. So that's what I want to talk about. If you're struggling with difficult emotions, stay tuned up to the end of this video. So growing up, let me talk about me. Growing up, I was never told how to deal with difficult emotions. I was never taught how to handle emotions. So, when I got into the disordered cycle of anxiety, I always felt teary. I always felt angry. I was lashing out to innocent people. Like, even me, I just used to find myself lashing out to people. I just lash out and someone has not even, harmed me or has not stepped on my toe, but I'm just lashing out. I had anger emotions. I was irritable. Small thing like these things that pre-anxiety I could just brush off, they could make me angry. I was jealous. I always felt like when I see a random person out there, I was just like, or even my friend, I was just like, no, this one is just enjoying here. Why is she or he not struggling with anxiety? Emotions of shame. I had a work self-esteem. Right now, one of the things that I always say is that anxiety is gonna teach you many things. Like, you're gonna become a better version of myself. Who would have thought that someone like me will just take a camera like this and start speaking in front of a camera? These are all blessings of anxiety. Anxiety, once you recover, it's a blessing in disguise. Right now, when you are in the thick of it, it may not feel like it. But once you recover, you'll realize that all along it was a blessing in disguise, because the lessons that you get from it, you have, I'm more emotionally intelligent. Even my mom comments on that. Albright, these days I realize you are calm. Things that I would have reacted vigorously to pre-anxiety, I'm just like, I can just watch that. There's things that now I can do, because I feel like if I could be able to overcome anxiety, you guys know the strength it takes to live with anxiety daily. If I could be able to overcome anxiety, then what else can't I do? Anxiety is a teacher. You become more mentally, even the way you think, it's totally different. So anxiety has got lots of lessons. I'll make a video on that, life after anxiety, the lessons that it comes with. I'm gonna make a video on that later. So when struggling with anxiety, I had different kinds of emotions, all emotions that you can ever think about. And since I was a kid, let me talk about myself. Since I was a kid, we were never taught how to deal with emotions. We were told that if you feel, men were not supposed to cry. We were told that, even if you are teary, even if you feel bad, get over that emotion quickly and, focus on life. So we didn't know how to handle these rage emotions. Grief, you don't know how to handle grief, this intense sadness, because I felt like I'm in this cocoon, I'm feeling sad, and it is at this moment that now it can lead to depression, because you are feeling these intense emotions. You are feeling sad, you are feeling angry, you don't understand. You have tried things to try. I tried exercises, I tried meditation, I tried medication to just feel better. I tried, making new friends. I tried everything to try and feel better, but nothing was working. So at that point is where you can even fall into depression, because you feel like I'm trying everything, but nothing is working. So, what next? So generally, when people are dealing with difficult emotions, let's say emotions of sadness, emotions of anger, they are irritable, grief, what they always do is to try and not feel that way, to try and stop feeling that way, to suppress these feelings, to resist these feelings, to fight these feelings. And that is the main reason why you still have these feelings. Fighting feelings keeps them at bay. It is like a kettle with hot water inside. When you close that lid, the steam stays inside, but when you open that lid, the steam goes up and disappears. And one of the reasons why people tend to fight these feelings, because these feelings are uncomfortable. The deep sadness, especially with anxiety, with human beings, it is normal to feel, good, and it is normal to feel bad. That's just generally how human beings we are. Sometimes you have good days, sometimes you have bad days. But with anxiety, those emotions tend to, they tend to stay stuck. You're having this intense sadness 24/7. You're having this intense feelings of anger 24/7. You're having these intense emotions 24/7. Now that's when it becomes a problem. Now you start worrying about these emotions. Now you start doing something about them in order to go away. Now, when you do that, when you try to stop them, when you try not to have them, when you try to chase feelings, now because you're having feelings of sadness, you're chasing feelings of joy. Now that makes you stuck in the loop of anxiety. Feelings are meant to be felt. In Paul David's book, At Last Alive, he says that you believe you want liberation from your feelings, while all along it is the feelings that want liberation from you. When you have anxious energy within, they're going to be released in form of the sadness, the anger, the feelings of irritability, the intense painful emotions that you don't want to feel. So if you always try and suppress them, they're gonna remain inside. That means the anxious energy is still gonna remain inside. Are you guys getting that point? You never used to have these uncomfortable feelings, but now because you are having so much, stress hormones, adrenaline and cortisol, they are stress hormones in our body. And when you worry, when you obsess about things, when you overthink things, you are bound to be tired. You are bound to be emotionally overwhelmed. And when you get emotionally overwhelmed, now you start experiencing these, intense emotions. Another one is fatigue. When you are tired, anxiety makes us tired because of the constant overthinking. The stress hormones use the resources that you already have, so you're going to be fatigued. And this brings up emotions. Another one is fighting. You constantly fighting this, fighting these sensations. You constantly fighting how you feel, constantly fighting, not only the physical symptoms, not only the intrusive thoughts, but, the emotions. This creates a resistance inside. There is an internal resistance. There is an internal turmoil. You may find out that outside you're laughing, you live like you're wearing a mask. Outside you're laughing, but inside it is this constant battle that, you can't understand. It is because you're fighting these feelings. When you just let emotions flow over, when you just let emotions be, emotions are meant to be felt. Me, once that I learned that way, I never have a problem with my emotions. In fact, they fade quickly than I expect. Emotions are meant to be felt. Even when even after a breakup or even grief, there are three main things that can break someone to a point of now they're having this, depression, intense emotions, loss of a job, breakup, and death of a loved one. Those three things, they can break someone to a point of now they're dealing with all these emotions. But anyway, those are the three main things that break someone to a point now they feel like no, they are having these emotions, they can't anymore. But also there are life events that happen that now you started worrying about these life events, and now you are in the disordered cycle of anxiety. And a symptom, emotions, thoughts, those are symptoms of anxiety. It's not like you're having these emotions as a mistake. You are having these emotions because they are a side effect of anxiety, and emotions are meant to be felt. The reason why you are sticking with these painful emotions, with the sadness, with the anger, it is because you don't want to feel them. Even addiction, people who are addicted to drugs, they stay stuck there because of the, when you're withdrawing from something that you are used to, when you're withdrawing from the drugs, when you're withdrawing from a habit that you formed, then the process is going to be painful. The uncomfortable feelings are there. So, most addicts tend to give up because of the painful process, because of the uncomfortable feelings. But when you learn to sit with the discomfort, when you learn to sit with the emotions, because sometimes I also used to feel like, okay, what if I sit with these emotions and they develop into something else? They're not going to develop into something else. In fact, these emotions that just want to be released from your body. You believe you want liberation from your feelings, while in reality, these feelings want liberation from you. I remember my behaviors, my avoidance behaviors when I was dealing with these uncomfortable feelings. I used to doom scrolling 24/7 because I just couldn't face these, feelings. I just couldn't face these emotions. They were too painful. Some people use alcohol to cope, binge watching, all these things that you are doing as a form of avoidance, as a form of not wanting to feel the emotions, is the reason why you are having these emotions up to now. When you feel them, they're gonna fade away gradually. The way to be free of uncomfortable feelings is to free them, not run away from them, not trying to suppress them, not trying to fight them. Feel all emotions as they are. Just say it is what it is to those emotions and feel them. They are painful, they are intense, but for you to be liberated from them, you have to feel them, because emotions have nowhere to go. If you don't feel them, then where are they going? They have to be felt. The anxious energy within you are being released in form of these emotions, so you have to feel them. Otherwise, if you suppress them, they're gonna stay in your body and you're still gonna feel panicky, you're still gonna feel anxious, you're still gonna struggle with these emotions. Also, something that helped me tremendously in, you know, allowing these feelings to be there, feeling my feelings, is not abandoning self-care. You know, when I didn't know better, I just used to lie in bed because I didn't have the courage, I didn't have the strength to go outside. So I just used to lay in bed, doom scrolling on social media. I never used to have a shower. Even something like brushing my teeth was like, you know, climbing a mountain. It was just, I couldn't just gather the strength. So if you want to fasten anxiety recovery, self-care is a priority. Stand up, wake up from that bed, go and shower, brush your teeth, look good. You know, sometimes how we feel can be determined by how we look or the environment that you are in. So don't abandon yourself. Like, you know, now you resort to alcohol, you know, smoking, you lie in bed doom scrolling. No, get out of that bed and start living your life. Do not abandon self-care. So emotions are meant to be felt. Anytime you fight emotions, you suppress emotions, you are keeping them within. Therefore, the long term is you're gonna still struggle with these emotions that you don't want for a very long time. And this process of allowing these emotions is gonna take time. It's not something like, it's not a magic pill. It's not something that's just gonna happen by the snap of your finger. It's not a quick fix. It's not something that, you know, you allow, then you come and ask me, hey Albert, you say that, you know, we should allow our emotions, but I'm still feeling that way. That one, you are also using the allowing, you are also using acceptance as a tool to make the emotions go away. When you allow something, you don't, you know, you don't put a specific timeline on it. That I'm allowing this, I've been allowing for 2 months, but it's still there. For you to be in that state, for you to be in the disordered cycle of anxiety, it took time. So it means you have a lot of anxious energy within. You have a lot of baggage inside. You have a lot of emotions that need to be felt. So it's not a quick fix. It's gonna take time for you to, you know, allow these emotions, for you to even accept that, okay, this is how I'm feeling. Let me just allow these emotions. It is anxiety. It's not my fault. These are, you know, these are side effects of anxiety. And if I allow them, if I let them be there, then as a result, as a consequence, they are gonna fade away. Do not try to chase feelings. Now you're feeling sad, you're chasing feelings of joy, chasing feelings of happiness. Happiness doesn't appear like that. Joy doesn't appear like that. Joy is a consequence of you feeling the, you know, the baggage inside. Then when they have been let out, as a result, you're gonna feel the feelings of joy, you're gonna feel the feelings of happiness. Do not try to chase a feeling. If you try to chase a feeling, you're gonna have this same feeling that you don't want. Joy and happiness is not something to be chased. They'll just come. If you are out there living your life, if you're doing your hobbies, if you're doing things that interest you, they will just come. You'll start getting interest in life, and as a result, you're gonna experience joy and happiness. Those are not things to be chased. Do not chase a feeling. Feelings come on their own. Feel what needs to be felt, and joy and happiness will come as a consequence. People always live according to how they feel, and if you can master emotions and learn to live your life regardless of how you feel, then you can be free of these emotions. If you have watched this video up to this point, make sure to share, like, subscribe, and comment. If there's anything that you'd like me to talk about, kindly comment down below. Otherwise, let's meet on the next video. Bye.